Greetings. I'm Stacy Justice. I'm a spiritual intuitive, a tarot card reader, energy worker, hypnotherapist, bringer of the light. What else would you call me? I wanted to do a special reading today and a special intention setting for today, which is September 22nd. It is the fall equinox. So today it is 12 hours of light and 12 hours of dark. And then now we're moving in our northern hemisphere, we're moving into the fall, and in the southern hemisphere, you're moving into the spring. So with that being said, there's a couple messages that come through from Spirit. Now, I always like to tell everyone to be open-hearted, and take what works for you, leave the rest. Remember that this is a collective reading, so the energy that comes through, or the energy that gets transcribed through this download, will be more of a collective nature. So with that being said, there is a message to tell everyone that this winter does feel like it's going to be damp and wet. And also it feels darker than normal, meaning there's lots of shadowy kind of energy that I'm seeing come through. There is a message to say, don't be afraid, be prepared. And being prepared means you already know what being prepared means for you. So have you made your preparations? And again, it's going to show up different for everyone. It may be like, for me, maybe my preparation is that I need to make sure I have enough firewood for my wood burning stove, because that's the way that I heat my house. You know, if it's making sure that your finances are in order, that you have an extra, little cushion of a just in case. Not that you'll actually necessarily have to use it, but that you understand that it's a feeling that will be brought by feeling prepared. Okay? If you go, this is going to especially start to happen in, they're showing me like the second week of October. Specifically, they're showing me October 12th. I'm not sure what that actually means, but after that time, we're going to feel like we will wish we had been prepared if you're not. So get prepared in whatever that looks like, again, for you. And then also to be choosing your friends and neighbors. The people that you are connected to now are the people that you are going to connect in with most deeply over the next, especially 3 months. This is a 6-month sort of intention setting time. But especially I'm focusing on the next 3 months. So this card is an indicator talking about relationships. Are you open to receiving the love that you've already connected to? Okay, she is guarding herself. Yes, so you may feel guarded, and you may think that you need to put up guards, but don't, because the guards actually become a block to receptivity. So when we block, we don't allow for to receive good. So you can be protected when you're prepared, and then you don't have to block yourself to your greater good. Okay, so watch any places that you're feeling blocked, and usually the blocks come from the heart. So make sure that you're remaining open-hearted and you're strong within that knowing. And then you'll also feel more prepared. When we're doing heart-centered things, we're going to feel more grounded, and then the frenetic mind isn't going to kind of trip us up or freak us out. Does that make sense? So when you're more open-hearted, you're more open to receiving, you're more open to the good. Okay? So this can be a celebration. It also can be watching addiction. Don't try to overcompensate if you're feeling, okay, let me rephrase. Don't overcompensate the fun, let's say imbibing in alcohol, imbibing in anything that can make you feel inebriated out of a coping mechanism. Okay? Staying connected and grounded, again, going back to the first card, grounded in your heart-centered energy is going to allow for you to feel true connection and true celebration without the inebriation. Okay? So that's what we want. We're going for grounded energy. We're going for feeling our feet on the earth. We're going for, being cold. If we talk about damp and cold, one of the things that's interesting about being cold is that you are in your body. When you feel the cold, if your feet are cold, you're actually in your body. So experiencing things in your body. Yes. This is a really great time to exercise. Okay. Keep moving your body. Exercise with like muscle building exercises, not necessarily running and cardio, more muscle building, feeling strong and grounded. Again, because there's going to be so much, excuse my French, mind fuckery in the next couple months, that we're going to need to feel grounded. And the only person that we're really going to be able to trust is ourselves and our higher selves, which includes God, spirit, those kinds of things. But we want that energy of the higher self to be grounded in the now, grounded in our personhood, so that it's not conceptual, but it's inceptual. Is that a word? It's in you, right? It's not just a concept. It's practical. It's practical magic. Okay, so also remember to breathe. Breathing exercises are going to allow you to connect into oxytocin and dopamine, and that we want to watch our hormones, right? We don't want, we want the happy hormones, which is, this card can also be indicative of that. And we want to let that nourish us mentally, okay? The hormones are going to serve the mental. So again, being in the body, allowing the hormones, oxytocin and dopamine, which is more grounded, more centered, instead of that frenetic kind of mind, cortisol, adrenaline kind of stuff, right? Which it's actually, the mind generates the adrenaline and cortisol, right? And so we have to stay grounded in order to get out of the mind and into the heart. So the funny part about that is, though, it takes the mind to get to the heart. Okay, so make sure you're connecting into that. And then we have the Knight of Wands. I feel that the Knight of Wands energy is going to come in more after the beginning of October. There's going to be a feeling of a rush, and we want to watch that we're not rushed to judgment. Again, the grounded energy just keeps coming through like really, really profoundly. So we don't want to rush to judgment, but we're going to feel like we want to take action. Mars is in retrograde for the next 3 months, and Mars is action, right? It's also Aries. Mars is the planet of Aries, and that fiery energy wants to move forward. So there's opportunity to move forward, but the way that we move forward is through that grounded knowing, trusting, and celebrating who we are at our foundation, who we are and truthfully are, not who we want other people to think we are. If you've been living in a space that is not true for this year, you are not going to benefit this next 3 months. The shit will hit the fan for you in the next 3 months if you have not been living your truth. So you've got to get into living your truth. And only you know what that is, your authentic self. You got to, if you're in the space of shoulds, I should be this way because so-and-so, or this thinks that, or the collective thinks that I should, if you're informing your decisions by what the collective thinks you should do, or what you've been programmed to think you should do, you're not going to be happy this next 3 months. This is all about being authentic, super, super authentic. And we're going to see this show up in our collective because it's going to be harder to trust. And so again, if you can't trust yourself, then you've got to start there. You've really got to start there. Again, this energy of this next 3 months, I said, was going to feel damp and a little bit shadowy and cold. So there's heartbreak here. Now, the heartbreak only comes if you're not being true to yourself. And if you've been doing the work from the beginning of this year, if you've been showing up in a space of awareness, then this is not something that you're going to have to be concerned with. But if you haven't been, if you've been waiting for someone else to show up, or you've been waiting for the virus to leave, or you've been waiting for news about something, you're going to experience some heartbreak. And, I'm not here to be the bearer of bad news, but what I want you to recognize is the heartbreak will bring you what you've been desiring, okay? But if you've been authentic, if you feel like you're in a good space, then you won't have to worry about this so much. You may see this happening for others around you, and so the best thing that you can do is be there for them as they go through this. I just heard depletion and deep, heartfelt release, letting go. It could show up as death. It shows up as endings of relationships. So just be there for your people and trust and have compassion towards these endings. And we will get through this. Let's see what else. This is some good stuff. So isn't that interesting that through the heartbreak can come everything that we desire, okay? So remembering to hold that space, that everything that you desire, and this card is indicative of family and land and maybe a traditional sort of what brings us happiness. But I want you to know that this card, it doesn't matter what you choose. Like for me, I'm more of a hermit kind of an energy. I love the people that I love, and I have people around me. And then I'm alone a lot with my dog. And that's what I love, and to produce experiences that you love, no matter what, not about the shoulds. Again, that goes back to this, if you think you should have this in a certain way and it doesn't align with who you are as an individual, you're going to experience this. So you've got to get real. Authenticity is what it's all about in this next 3 months. So let me see if there's anything else that wants to come through from Spirit. I think the main beautiful message that I keep getting is to have compassion for yourself. Remember what you've been through. Remember how far you've come. And even if it's 1 or 2 steps, it's steps. And as you're evaluating what you desire in the next 3 months and 6 months also, but especially the next 3 months, is to hold the heart at the center of your desires. That all the accoutrements and all of that extra stuff, designer things or, just experiences that you should have, could have, wish you would have had. If you can relinquish and let go of that, and be in the present moment, you're going to experience more moments of bliss, even in the darkness, even in the shadow, even in the winter. And that the experiences that you do have are going to be more cherished. They're going to mean more. And so remember that as you're moving through this next, again, 3 to 6 months. Hold the vision of a peaceful outcome for everything that's going on in our world. Hold a vision for ease and grace, and that you have the at your disposal, you have this divine energy, this universal, back of all things, juicy prosperity consciousness that moves through you. It comes in through your heart, and then it takes action through your mind and through your analyzer, through your vision. That you're open to receiving, be open to receiving the good that can come during any time, but especially this time, and that you'll cherish it more. Milk the goodness and release the things that show up as bad or painful, recognizing that they're part of this beautiful experience that we're having right now as people, yes. And love your family, whoever that is, friends. Love your neighbors, even if you don't believe the same things that they believe. We're all human, yes? We're all part of this beautiful grand scheme, and that if I can have compassion towards someone who I see is hating, then I think it changes them a bit. And they may not even have awareness of it, but there is a shift that happens based on the frequency that I'm vibrating at. And so if I'm vibrating in a space of hate, then I'm going to emanate hate. If I'm vibrating from a space of love, then I'm going to vibrate love. And I can love someone and have compassion for them and not agree with them. So that's the depth that I'm challenging you to go to. And be open to receiving really beautiful things in your life. Set that intention every day that you're open to receiving deeper connections, open to receiving insights, open to having awareness. And then the world is going to unfold in a different way. I believe that. So let's pull one more card to see. The Empress. And I'm not going to do reversal. She shows up as the creative force, and she's pregnant with ideas, and she's innovative, and she's empathic, and she's courageous, and she's compassionate, and she sits in the knowing of who she is. So that's the challenge. That's the ask. Can you say yes to sitting in your most creative space? Can you say yes to the Empress, even in the darkness? Can you say yes to something that takes you to another level, that brings you to a bigger family, to a bigger life, to a bigger expression of joy? That's the challenge. Just say yes. Have a beautiful, beautiful equinox. I'm here for you if you want to check me out at loveandjustice.com, and it's JUSTIS, or Stacey Justice, STACEY, JUSTIS.com. I do one-on-one sessions, and I'm on the gram every once in a while, so I hope to see you all there. Peace and blessings, and have a beautiful, beautiful fall and winter.